District 5. Let's see if I can describe the district. On the north side of West Memphis, everything to the west of 14th Street over to Missouri. On the south side of West Memphis, everything to the east of 8th Street over the woods. Then you go pick up Highland Park. Y'all know where Highland Park is? Out near Marion. Marion wouldn't include them. There's, if you go down Broadway, one street down Broadway, past Missouri, whatever that street is, and I can't think of it, it goes down 6 or 7 blocks down, and it turns on whatever street that is, where the Boys Club is. There's a little nook in there. So between Missouri and that street, and it runs north and south, starting at Broadway. Does anybody understand what I just said?
Yeah.
Is that confusing? You sure?
Yes.
Okay, justice of the peace. Okay, it's a misleading term. In a lot of states, justice of the peace marry people. In some states, I understand in some states they could be judges. In Arkansas, justice of the peace is essentially the same as the county commissioner in Tennessee, with a few distinct differences. The county judge over here is really more like the county mayor. Okay, so I'm running for that position. That is a very important position in the county. It is the county government, it's the county legislative body. Major decisions for the county, ordinances, financial expenditures are made through the county court. My understanding is the money that's dispersed to the school system has to be approved by the court. Did y'all know that? So if you ever wondered why everything north of Dover Road in West Memphis in the Marion School District, if 5 of the quorum court members or justices decided that they were not going to approve that, then the schools wouldn't get their money. That's a lot of power and a lot of authority. About 30 years ago, close to 30 years ago, myself, Mr. Elbert Smith, that used to be the president of the NAACP back in the 80s and early 90s, we were all part of a lawsuit to create what was called a super black state representative district. There had not been a black person hold that position since Reconstruction. Y'all know Reconstruction, right after the Civil War. And the court held that because of discrimination, Jim Crow laws, that a 50-50 split wouldn't be correct. All of these voting and political districts had been gerrymandered, which meant that they were intentionally drawn to leave out certain groups to dilute the black vote. So the court held that it would allow districts with 65% of black voters in order to give them sort of a head start. And of course, I think the first court case was Smith versus Clinton. That's Elbert Smith versus Bill Clinton. That's the famous case we got then and again. A major reason that I'm running because myself, Elbert, T.K. Robinson, y'all remember him, and Vicky, even so we don't get along that well today, but we were all part of that thing, Mr. Chipman, and we were genuinely working to try to create a political environment where there could be the black community could have representatives on the quorum court, school boards, city councils, circuit court judges. I think that Judge Hill, the position he's in, was created the same way. There was a state senate district that was created, came out of Forest City. That was Jefferson versus Clinton. One of the things that we found is after we did all of the work, did all of the logistics, the walking and the doing, that the blacks that came out to run for office were rotten. Did I say that? They were rotten. Record that, absolutely rotten, with the exception of just 1 or 2. Today, Keith Ingram has most of them in his pocket. Record that, make sure you record that, because that's absolutely true. And what we have is an inability to the black community, as well as much of the white community is underrepresented, because there is a collusion between the Ingram machine and what we call a white power structure and black leadership. And so the masses of people aren't being represented. Their interests are not being met at all. Recently, they came to the quorum court Ingram and the board members of the hospital saying that the hospital is about to go bankrupt and that they needed to raise the sales tax. So we questioned, I don't like the idea of raising the sales tax in Crittenden County because, Marion is already over 10%. So, we're going to wind up with a sales tax higher than any place else in the nation. And also, I don't think sales tax is the best way to collect revenue. You expand your consumer base is the best way. I think that raising the sales tax is going to discourage growth in the county. And it's just unfair to the people. So we said, well, why didn't you file Chapter 9 bankruptcy, reorganize the debt, and streamline your services? Of course, they said it was too late. It's about to go under right now. Now, something's wrong with that story. We're not getting the whole story. And of course, Ingram and the members of the hospital board maneuvered it this way. They were supposed to have prepared an ordinance and come before the Quorum Court at the March meeting. Now, had the Quorum Court heard the ordinance and passed it, then it would have been on the May 20th ballot, just like but somehow or another, it wasn't ready. And so therefore, they had a special call meeting and they voted to put it on the ballot. So now it's going to be on a standalone election, which is precisely with the lobbying group that they hired. They said they don't have the money, but they hired a lobbying group. And the lobbying group said that the best way to win is in a standalone election. You have low voter turnout, and therefore you'll win. And that's precisely what they're going to do. And I think that's unfair, and I think it undermines the whole democratic process. Mr. Bass has been on the Quorum Court. I think this is his third term, and pretty much by himself. Has really no help on the Quorum Court. And I think a lot of us are running because we want to make sure that we have enough good people in position that are not bought, that want to see some changes made in this county. This county, it should be the most prosperous county in the world. I mean, we're situated. We've got the biggest truck stop industry in the entire world is right here in Crittenden County. You're situated between two of the major interstates in the country, Interstate 40 and 55. We're next door to the 15th largest city in the nation, and arguably one of the most famous cities in the nation, Federal Express. And of course, you got one of the big three of the rivers of the world, the Nile and the Euphrates, and you got the Mississippi. So everything's here, and we have a state-of-the-art training facility. But what we have is a economic and political system here that is run by a plantocracy. That is a collusion of farmers, bankers, judges, lawyers, prosecutors, school superintendents, law enforcement, and they collude to keep all that power in hand. And what happens is, with all of the thousands of people who work here in Crittenden County, school teachers, hospital people, people work at the city, the county, all these people, and the track, don't forget that, all these people's life outcomes are dependent upon working in one of these places. And anybody that gets out of hand, somebody can put a hand on you. And so we're working to create some equity and to try to grow this economy and provide for the safety of this community. So, anyway, I'm going to shut up and sit down and let y'all ask some questions later.